5 types of vaccines and how they work.
Wait, what is a vaccine?
Good question. A vaccine is something that we take to train our immune system to recognize a virus or a bacteria when and if it gets infected.
How do vaccines do this?
So we need to train our immune system to recognize a protein on the surface of the virus so that it can recognize it immediately. Think of it like training the immune system for when and if it gets exposed. This is actually heavy. Okay, I get it, but how do we get our immune system to recognize a protein? There are many ways to do this, which brings me to the topic of this video, if I may. 5 types of vaccines and how they work. 1. Attenuated vaccines, the traditional way of making vaccines. We take a live form of the virus and make it weaker so that we can introduce it to our body without getting sick. This is done by taking the virus and growing it in cells over and over again until it gets to a point where it's so weak that it doesn't replicate or copy itself very well. Some examples of attenuated vaccines are mumps, measles, and smallpox. However, people with a compromised immune system are still at risk. 2. Inactivated vaccines. We take a virus and make it inactive, either by heating it up or treating it with chemicals, like the polio vaccine or more recently, the Sinovac COVID vaccine. This process does take time and it isn't always effective. It also usually requires booster doses. 3. Subunit vaccines. We get rid of most of the virus and we just keep the surface protein, which we introduce to our immune system. This can't make us sick, but the problem is that our immune system may not always recognize this protein. Subunit vaccines usually include something called an adjuvant, which is a substance that helps our immune system recognize what's left of the virus. An example of a subunit vaccine is the hepatitis B vaccine. 4. Viral vector vaccine. This one is a combination of 2 viruses. You take the surface protein of a virus, and that's the one that you want immunity against, and pair it with another very mild virus without causing any sickness to our body. This is how the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine works. 5. My personal favorite, mRNA vaccines. RNA is a genetic code. We introduce messenger RNA to our immune system so that it can produce its own viral surface proteins. But we can't inject the RNA straight into our body because the RNA wouldn't survive. We usually package it with something called lipid nanoparticles, which is basically just fat. That's how the Moderna and Pfizer-BioNTech vaccines work. What's great about RNA vaccines is that they're the fastest to produce. Viruses are made up of codes, so we just need to develop the right code to fight the virus. This is especially helpful when there's a sudden outbreak like COVID-19, or in the case where we develop mutations. So this gives us the flexibility to produce a vaccine really quickly if we need it. All of these vaccines help prepare your body to fight dangerous diseases and viruses. Then why do we need booster shots? Sometimes booster shots are required as a reminder to our immune system of what viruses to look for. All right, I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll try to answer them in a future video, so don't forget to subscribe.